Okay, so I want to answer a quick question real quick, because I noticed quite a bit of Chibits have been asking since yesterday, and I felt like it was very appropriate to answer this, since this is Gintama. Gintama parodies a lot of shit, and it talks about so much shit, so I think it's appropriate I can actually, answer this question in this video. That figure right there, that some of you don't know what it is, that's Boa Hancock from One Piece. I got that from Chibits. That video will be up later tonight. So, I'm just letting you all know. So, prepare for that video, and that is the figure right there. You will see it, don't worry. Just letting you know. So, anyways, this episode of Gintama, this review is slightly a little bit late because I took a nap, as I said earlier this morning. And I'm glad I got up and the first thing I saw was Gintama, like this episode, because it was such a sweet beginning to a day. Like, I mean, it was a great way to start a Wednesday. And I think all of us can agree when it comes to Wednesday, I think all of us really look forward to Wednesday when it comes to anime. Because usually, I don't know what it is, but usually when it comes to Wednesday of anime seasons, like you remember last season, winter, we had, good anime on Wednesday, like Parasite. It used to come out Wednesday. Now we have Ode Monogatari and Gintama. I just love Wednesday so much. I really do. It's one of the days I really look forward to each passing week, especially with Gintama early morning, and then Ode Monogatari. Getting Gintama early morning, it gives you those good amount of emotions where you have a good comedy, you can laugh your ass off, it can teach you life lessons, it can give you some drama, action, it gives you so much different variety of things in one episode that you can just really cherish the episodes of Gintama. And that is no exception to this week's episode of Gintama. Now, this episode concludes the Gender Bender arc, which is quite sad, because I like this arc quite a bit. I really like this Gender Bender arc, but sadly, all good things and all good arcs must come to an end, and which sucks, but they must come to an end, and this arc had to come to an end. And judging by the past of Gintama when it comes to its arcs, usually arcs only last maybe 3 to 4 or 5 episodes, and it did end very soon. Now, I'm curious though what type of arc we're going to be getting into next. Judging by how Gintama operates, we might probably have some form of single episodic contained episode for a couple episodes, and then we'll probably get into an arc. But I really wonder what arc we're going to get into next. I'm really curious about that, because, I've heard there's a lot of serious arcs going down in the manga right now, and I'm looking forward to finally getting to see those anime. That will probably be a while, though, because, there's just, so much material before that. But here's the thing I want to mention, though, about this episode and about this series of Gintama. For some reason, Gintama doesn't have any announcement for the episode count. Like, for instance, at this moment, Gintama doesn't have an announcement for 13 episodes, 24 episodes, 25 episodes, 100 episodes. It has no announcement, which is kind of obvious because there's a lot of material between, this episode of Gintama to the latest chapter. There's probably a good maybe 30-something episodes of material, I guess, if they adapt like 2 or 3 chapters a week. We don't get a lot of long-running anime anymore. We really don't. I mean, if you think about it, we don't. So I'm glad Gintama is not just getting 12 episodes or, 24 episodes. Because if it was going to get 24 episodes, it would have already been announced. So I'm curious. Is it going to have 40? 50? Is it going to have, 30-something? I mean, I'm curious. But let's move up back on topic. So the life lesson of this episode of Gintama. What was the theme, or the point, which obviously the theme was on the gender bending and learning to accept your gender and what role you're born with, and that's kind of the meaning behind this arc. For instance, learning to love the gender you've been born with and realize, yes, each gender has their limitations and weaknesses and advantages. You just need to understand and accept both sides. And this arc kind of focused more on Chibi as a character. As I said in my first review of this arc, it was obvious that this arc was going to focus on her and kind of develop her and give her some characterization, because that's what these type of arcs are for, especially when it centers around a certain character. Gives them characterization and just develops them a little bit more compared to how they previously were before the arc. Even though this arc, from the outsider's perspective, or even in the insider's perspective, it doesn't look like it's that vital to the overall grand scheme of Gintama. It is vital because Chibi was able to learn a lesson and to accept her role as being a female, and she got to live her life as a male and understand how that role was as well. And so, I love how this arc was structured. It was a really good structured arc to showcase Chibi as a character of how she learned to accept who she is. Now, I highly doubt the comedy between Kyubey and Otai is going to change. I really doubt something like that would change, but at the very least, we know Kyubey has taken on some steps to learn a lesson and grow as a person. And that is what I think we should really pull out of this episode. Now, overall, though, this arc, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, it's been a very fun arc. I mean, I've laughed my ass off since the first episode of the Genderbender arc, and I laugh my ass off to every episode of Gintama, but this Genderbender arc has been absolutely funny. Definitely in my top 5 favorite arcs I think I saw of Gintama. Obviously, my favorite is the popularity poll, because that right there, oh my god, that popularity poll was too damn good. You know, I'll never get enough of getting to see Sadaharu beat up Elizabeth, just fucking punching Elizabeth. Oh my god, that was too good. But still, this gender bent arc was definitely in my top 5 after this, because it was something that you normally don't see in Gintama, and it took it into a different level. That it used its comedy that we normally see through the genders, like, you know, how Gin and, you know, he's a male and the way he acts. Well, getting to see Gin as a female and the way he acts, it's just so funny. It's like a change of comedy, and it changed the entire essence, kind of how we usually look at the characters. So that's about it. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do y'all feel about this week's episode of Gintama? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.